the show. If you've ever been confused by the expiration dates on the back of the food that you buy, or if you ignore them completely, you are not alone. Today we're breaking down all of the important distinctions so that you know exactly what they mean. Here with everything you need to know is Dr. Wendy Bazilian.
Welcome back.
Hi, how are you? You look so pretty.
Thank you.
Now, this is a woman that does not eat expired food. Okay.
I try not to.
Okay.
All right, what are the most common expiration dates?
It can be super confusing. Sell by, best by, use by. Sell by is about inventory control in the grocery store. So that's something mostly for grocers. Best by is about quality, the taste, appearance, nutrition. The use by date is the one, if there's a use by date, you really got to follow as an expiration
If I go to the
date.
grocery store, the ones on the front are sell by. You go on the behind it, it's got a better date.
You're smart.
I worked at a grocery store.
Okay, then you know. So we're going to break it down. You know, every year the CDC estimates there's 48 million cases of foodborne illness.
Yeah.
So the fact that you get by sometimes is not a guarantee. When it comes to meat, really because of the protein and the water content, 2 to 3 days in the refrigerator is what you should do, and 1 to 2 days for fish. That's when you get it home in the refrigerator.
Like guests,
to get it.
Anything past 2 days, they need to leave.
Yeah, yeah. There is that fish stink test. Exactly. Yeah. I've heard about that before. Dairy. This is one where when you get it home, if the sell-by date has not hit yet, when you open it, a really good idea is to use a pen and mark when you open it, and then you have 10 to 14 days. But you can use your sniffer because aroma and spoilage is something you can smell.
His sniffer, though, smells spoilage where I am convinced there is no spoilage.
No, but when I was a kid, my mom would have me check it because I could see when it was going bad.
Yeah.
And it would be right.
Yeah, well, use our common sense and use the dates as well.
Okay.
Yogurt is similar. It seems to have a forever date. So it's good to label it, but once you open it, about 7 to 10 days, it will grow mold. If you've ever gone on vacation and left, an opened yogurt container, you come back, it's mold. So you've got to watch it, but 7 to 10 days after you open it in the refrigerator. Bread. We're not talking about stale bread here, we're talking about mold. As soon as you see a speck of mold, it's already passed like tentacles through the bread slices. So the best thing to do with bakery bread, it's 1 to 2 days on the counter. For refrigerator bread bread that you buy at the grocery store, do not put it in the refrigerator, but it's 2 to 3 days. You can use a bread box that can preserve it, or split it in half, put it in the freezer, half of it, and leave some on the counter, and eat it in rotation pretty regularly.
Okay. Our bread has gone bad. I'm just saying.
Good to know. And
I think that we just I will eat bread until it's gone, and that's a bad idea.
Well, put some in the freezer and maybe put some parchment between it, and then you can take it out piece by piece and preserve
Eggs.
it.
When I was in Australia, the eggs were in the auto department. They didn't put them in their fridge. That's overseas.
Interesting. Well, eggs do have a pretty long shelf life. They've got their own protective coating, of course, but it is oxygen sensitive. It is porous. So 4 to 5 weeks, actually, eggs can be on the shelf, but in the refrigerator. You should keep them covered, and there should be a little bit of air circulating. If you don't know if they're fresh or not, you can dunk them in the water. If they sink, they're fresher. If they float, they start to have a larger air pocket, and they're less fresh. But don't just sink them all. Do that right before you cook, otherwise the bacteria can flow into the egg.
Okay.
Got it.
Fruits and veggies.
Well, let them tell you. I mean, seriously,
they tell you right away.
They tell you right away.
Yeah,
the smell, the mushy, the musty, the wilty, all of those. Yeah. But generally 5 to 7 days. Some last longer, apples, oranges, and so forth. But let them tell you and bring them up on the shelves so that you can eat them, get those nutrients.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a big one. I used to go 1 day with leftovers. That's not necessarily
Mark
true,
is
right?
so bad with that. Mark eats a leftover.
Yeah.
He doesn't think it should be left over.
Well, yes, it is leftover in that case. You're bringing home your leftovers. Put them in the refrigerator. Make sure your refrigerator temperature is 37 to 40 degrees. You want it in that safe zone. Label them with a label maker or a good old pen. My grandmother always had one on a string attached to the refrigerator so she could write down the label and eat it within 48 hours.
For 2 days.
2 days.
Hang on a second. 48 hours, Mom.
What's the rule with left out food, when you leave food out?
Excellent. This is where I always think of Top Gun, getting into the danger zone. Remember? That's one of the greatest. The danger zone is between 40 and 140 degrees.
Okay.
That is the unsafe space, less than 2 hours. It's really important to get your food chilled and back into storage to be safe.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Spices, you know, they're real cute.
Do they go up?
Well, you know what? The Egyptian mummies used to be preserved in them, so they stay forever as a preservative. But as soon as the aroma and the color goes, there's no aroma there. They're antioxidants, and their nutritional properties go, and plus their flavor goes.
Yeah.
This one's an octogenarian. It was my grandmother's. You know, keep them for a couple years.
Was this really your grandma's?
Yeah, it was my grandma's.
It's incredible.
I know, isn't
I'll
that
never
cool?
get rid of that.
1940, I
Yeah.
think.
Canned
Absolutely.
foods.
Canned foods, if they have a dent, a bulge, or rust, when in doubt, throw it out. But cans can probably stay forever, but in general, they say about 2 years. Don't keep them in your garage in hot climates. And, you know, follow some of the good, safe rules. We're laughing here.
What if the product is rattling around in there? Should you then throw it away?
You should.
Yes.
When in doubt, throw it out is always a
Okay,
good one.
fine.
All right.
You know.
Well,
to know.
thank you, Wendy. For more
Thank
tips,
you.
head to our website. Next, we're going to cook with Jake Cohen. Stick around. Thank you, Wendy.